game controller down, but now you have an opportunity to be an e-athlete. So there's no one on the earth right now who's an e-athlete. It's wide open. So if you're a gamer, here's an opportunity. And we use that vehicle to impart civic education under the umbrella of sustainable development goals. These are 17 targets set in 2015 by 190 leaders to say that by 2030 would have gotten to a better position as a planet. Obviously, we're not. We're failing. We only hit 17% of those goals. I'm passionate about the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, because Africa stands to benefit the most. So essentially, what we're doing is what is on the ground with individuals like Morara, which is civic education and global citizenship. And we're using gaming as a vehicle to impart that knowledge.
Thank you very much. And I know Brother Ben will have some questions for you and we can get involved into this gaming industry. It's quite interesting. I've been a gamer before. I'm still a gamer. I still enjoy playing games. Grand Theft Auto, some FIFA football, things like that. I know Ben, you are not familiar in this field where people playing internet games. I mean, these games really refresh your mind. But Andrew is creating something that is tailor made for Africa, and it is very, very good. You need to check him out on his website. He will give it out when in the middle of the show, so that you guys can go and check Andrew's uh, website. And he's bringing it at home in Kenya. So people in diaspora are really investing back at home to bring technology and to inform the public on the things that they need to know about IT and technology. Now, back to what has really brought us here is the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. Uh, a lot is going on in the media platforms, in the general public. Everybody is talking about the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. One thing I would want to pose to Brother Bernard: how did you see the impeachment process of one Rigathi Gachagua? What did you see that is unique about this impeachment? Remember, it is the first one in the Republic of Kenya. Is the first deputy president to be impeached by Parliament in the Republic of Kenya. Most of them have been sacked by the president, but this one, according to the new constitution, he had to go through the process. How did you see the process? Was it really fair for Rigathi Gachagua to be impeached in that manner?
Thank you so much, Zalindo, for the time. Speaking about the impeachment, I do not think um, it was very fair um, to the deputy president in terms of the process. Um, and I'm not supporting the DP, but I'm talking about the process and all the allegations that were brought because to me it appeared like he was somebody that his political career was being killed or was being terminated. Um, and even the person who brought in the impeachment motion, from the look of things, did not own it. Yeah. He seems like somebody who was under some training on how he's going to answer some questions, especially in the higher house. So to me, I don't think the process was fair. So, and I know with the time I will have to give my reason as per why.
Yeah, the process. Yes, yes, Andrew. What do you think about the whole scenario? If you watched it, or you might have missed it.
No, no, no. I watched it. I thought it was quite interesting. Well, for a couple of reasons. One, I feel it was such a rushed process, but with that rush, we've been given a template and example that these politicians can rush other processes that we need for to make policies work. And then on top of that, you know, I just, not only were we exposed to the maturity of our democracy to an extent, but we still have a lot of work to do. It was unfortunate how rushed it was without better public participation. But my takeaway from this is we have learned, we have seen what this process looks like, and we now have an opportunity to interject policy that should make that process more participatory with the populace. You know, I was watching it on YouTube and looking at the interactions of people, and I was jumping off also onto X to see people's interactions. And I think moving forward, you know, that's one way that we can interact and get feedback in real time. But overall, I'm not a fan of what happened, but at least we're learning that we can put policy and processes so that when we need to impeach the president because of his shortcomings, we know the process.
Yeah, I think what you've said is very, very important. And what many Kenyans are saying, oh, this thing is possible. So you can just remove a deputy president like that. Then the next person to be removed should be actually the president himself, if the process is that weak. So I think somebody out there is now planning to impeach one William Ruto and bring the motion to Parliament. Brother Ben, is it a possibility that Ruto can be impeached by this Parliament and the Senate?
The possibility can be there, but another thing that you also have to consider is the issues about numbers. If you look at what really happened to the deputy president, it was the issues of numbers. The process, even if the process was flawed, but the numbers counted. So, provided that somebody has numbers now, from the way I'm looking at it, if you have numbers, you can impeach president and bring almost like around 10 charges or 11 charges or like around 10 charges. So if you know you have numbers in the House, especially the Parliament, then the numbers in the Senate. So when you pass it in the House, it comes to the Senate. When the voting time comes, you need only the numbers to confirm only one, and you're already impeached. Yeah. So it is a issue of numbers, not the process.
Wow. It's the issue of the numbers, not the process. Andrew,
Yeah,
Yeah.
your
yeah,
contribution about that.
but unfortunate the MPs, their
Yeah.
number, and this is why I believe the process that Morara is trying to do with um changing campaign finance, because under the House, all those people were bought, you
Right.
know. And then even the way some of I watched some of their presentations, they were so demeaning, you know. And I feel for office of of a vice president, there needs to be some reverence to that. So yes, numbers is important, but what we are lacking is substance of quality people who hold us or represent us the right way. With the presidency right now, he's got the numbers from, and by the way, I think he's been building up these numbers for years.
Yeah. And talking
Yes.
about you've talked of something that is quite much very interesting about building the numbers in years. When you're very keen enough and you're a very keen observer of what is taking place, it seems that there was um, a remote control center where um, the numbers were being um, set. Like this is number two. I have to choose the station number two. This is the button to press. The button to press, and it seems that it was so much calculated because everything is falling in place the way it was supposed to be done. And it is that the president has managed, one, to bring in, take over the executive. That is one. uh, Executive. Two, he has managed to take over the legislature, including the opposition, the people who should be in the minority, you know and that one has made it possible for the rush to actualize what they wanted. So what you mentioned is very important.
And another layer too, he also has civil society.
Yeah,
That's why he came to America. That's why you saw his relationship with the Ford Foundation being uh, solidified on a global stage,
yeah.
so that he can decapitate the civil society on the ground in Kenya.
Oh, okay. Now, one thing people are talking about, does this impeachment change the political landscape in Kenya, Brother Bennett? What do you think about the political landscape in Kenya when Rigathi Gachagua is impeached? And look at what is happening to the conversation around Mount Kenya. What is
So
your take on that?
the conversation around Mount Kenya, uh, I might say something that I might it is something that I'm trying to look at. You know, um, for Rigathi Gachagua, in terms of Mount Kenya, I was in the other show the other day. I was talking. Rigathi Gachagua wanted to build a niche, and this niche, he wanted a niche that he could control, and this niche was supposed to be Mount Kenya. And because he was looking at Raila Odinga has his niche, and that niche Raila Odinga commands. William Ruto the same has a niche that he commands, and if he says that we are going left, we are going left. If he says we are going right, we are going right. And that is what Rigathi Gachagua was trying to build. But in the process of building it, the the regional or the people who have those niches kind of like feel threatened, and the kind of messaging he was giving, that one made them to clip his wings, because it was talking about Mount Kenya very specific, which is not quite much different with what other people, other political or the other kingpins are speaking, or the region uh, uh, kings are speaking. Is that like he decided to use the language that they felt was not very good, and that one has cost him. So now when you come to Mount Kenya, now there's that division. Now you have the west and the east is now playing part, but now it depends. I don't know what the ground is saying, because that is what we are seeing. Because after, if you reward the east, where the professor is coming from, they will going to be very happy. The other side is going to be very emotional. But is that one what is also reflected on the ground? So that one will change the political dynamic in um, the central Kenya or the mountain region.
I agree. Andrew, you want to say?
No, I agree with him. I think that's exactly on point. He did not want Rigathi to have that control of that electoral base, and that's really what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Apart from controlling, you need to know the history of these students of Moi. Regarding Gachagua, uh, there's a rumors out there that indeed he was a student of Moi, and apart from being a student of Moi, he was the son of the late president. I don't know how that is true, but that is something that is being said in the corridors, between whispers, that Gachagua was indeed the son of the former president.
Son
Now,
of who?
President Daniel Arap Moi. Then, so this is just rumor. I don't know whether that is true. When you look at Rigathi Gachagua's rise in politics, He was a DO in Rift Valley, and he came into the limelight when Moi told him to assist Uhuru Kenyatta as his PA. Then after that, he just shot into political limelight. After being the MP for Madira, he became the Vice President of the Republic of Kenya. Administratively, Rigathi Gachagua has worked as an administrator for a very long time. He understands how government operates, but is he a truthful man? He poses out there as a very truthful person. Uh, in the allegations, Bernard, did you see anything that is worth impeaching a deputy president in the allegations that were tabled?
You know, to me, I feel uh, all the allegations that were made against him, some of them are like when it comes to the KEMSA issue, that is very tangible. But remember, he's not the only one who has done that. How many times have we heard of the politicians themselves influencing some of these tenders with the government? I don't think he's the only one who has um, done that. That is one. Secondly, if talking about even the regionalism or somebody being a tribal, we know for a fact that our country, sincerely speaking, we are tribal in nature, and we are still in that, despite the fact that when we come out um, in the public, we tend to say that we 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 are we we are not tribal. Yeah, but if you go or check during the campaigns, you would witness on how the tribal cards play, even forming of coalitions. Yeah, it is the tribe that plays a major role. Look at the Azimio when Azimio was formed. Martha Karua, Her Excellency Martha Karua was brought on board. Yeah, she was brought on board not because they share the same ideal with the Right Honorable Prime Minister. No, we know very well they don't share same ideal. They don't have the same views. But due to the fact that she was coming from Mount Kenya and she was a woman, so those are the some of the reason why she was brought on board. Come to Rigathi Gachagua too. He was brought on to be the deputy, not because he qualified, but one, he had a Mount Kenya. He was originating from Mount Kenya. That is one. Secondly, he might be having a lot of cash, which is playing part in politics. So what was brought to Gashagwa was a way of a political elimination of a threat that might um, bring your downfall in future. You know, so
Mhm.
the all allegations were trying to prevent what was coming in the future, bearing in mind he had a truthful man tag. He is not a yes person. He's somebody who insists on what he wants. You cannot come and tell him, do this. But that is what I think the president would not want to have somebody like that, you know. So his to me, his impeachment is not he has made gross misconduct. There are people who have done more worse than him and are holding offices, you know. So it's just like political differences. That was what has really costed him. That is what I think.
I agree with you 100%. It's because he did not bow to the king.
Yeah.
Now, I have put an allegation there that that is what Rigathi Gachagua was being accused of. Inciting ethnic division. He is charged with promoting ethnic division, which is a serious offense, given Kenyans are diverse and sometimes tense ethnic landscape. And Bernard, you put it clearly that we all go back to our ethnic blocks at the end of the day. ODM has got its ethnic block in Nyanza. And when Baba is there, he addresses them like we are in a war with this particular issue, and we are going on a battle as a community.
Yeah.
That again would be an impeachable offense in if that was to be. Now, William Ruto goes back to Rift Valley and tells them, I am your son. We are going to this together. So I need your support. I don't think that mobilizing your base. You've seen Donald Trump mobilizing the evangelical here in the U.S. Uh, you know, trying to sell your agenda to your people. I think that is not promoting ethnic division. But one thing I agree with the impeachment articles that were brought is only one area where Gachagua failed. He failed to represent that office of the deputy president. Like he posed himself as a leader for the Mount Kenya region and not a national leader. And very few times you saw him outside the Mount Kenya region. The farthest he could go is to give a press conference in Mombasa. So he was really after getting the trust and support of Mount Kenya because Gachagua felt that he didn't have the support. Remember, this community was solely behind the former president Uhuru Kenyatta. So he needed to come back, and his comeback was he had to he had to get the support of the people. I think that was what was driving Gashagwa. Or what do you think, Ben?
What I think is this. As I told you earlier, Gachagua was trying to make his niche and match the people who or the political leaders who have been in the political field for the longest time, especially the likes of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, His Excellency William Ruto, Salim Davadi, and Wetangula. So, and something that he forgot was the best way on how I can inherit this niche. And I can give you a typical example. If you're very keen today, um, the Moi system of governance or the Moi spots are still being felt in the leadership that we have. Remember how Moi brought Uhuru Kenyatta in. He lost. When he first ran for presidency, he lost. And when he lost, what did he do? He accepted that. When he ran again and won, when Kibaki was there, he did a honorable thing. He did not attack uh, the late president. You know, he respected him. So one thing that the deputy president forgot that when you are creating your own niche and these people have niche, themselves, they might have political differences, but they have the limit on where to attack. Yeah. But with him, he went overboard. And by him going overboard, he kind of like send a message to these niches and say, okay, this is somebody who is trying to bring a niche and he will destabilize us in our niches. So that's why I think he made it wrong by attacking the first family and even Uhuru, the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, bearing in mind, if you remember what the late Muchuki said, that anyone who comes to Mount Kenya has to come through Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So I think he could have had the wisdom then to find a way of inheriting the mountain from His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta in a very respectful way. He could have been in his seat today. That is one. One thing that also he did not see coming, he thought that the UDA was for Mount Kenya. And I can remember there was a time, I think Cecil Mbarile or somebody, I cannot remember, said that the UDA is for Mount Kenya. But he did not know how important a political party in Kenya is. That is your negotiating power. Because if you have a political party, you have a loyalty. The people who are in your political party are your loyal soldiers. But he was fooled to go on UDA, but he did not have any shares or stake in UDA. And I'm telling you, immediately after the court case and everything is over, his position in UDA is not going to be there and is going to remain partyless, starting to work again. So his strategies, he did not foresee the future, but he was so much overpowered or drunk, to say a better, if I lack a better word, with power. So he went overboard and made those serious mistakes and has costed him right now.
To me, I think Ruto is very little and brutal and precise in if he's right. And I didn't see this coming. I've got a different opinion about. Sorry to my Christian brothers and sisters who are watching. I thought that forgiveness is one of the verses in the Bible that you are able to forgive your enemies whenever they they offend you. But these two Christians who every Sunday I see them in church who are not able to forgive each other. That brings me back to what I think normally happens in Kenya. That there is a force that is beyond William Ruto. This impeachment is not coming from William Ruto. It is coming from the deep state, people who are not happy with Gachagua. That's what I think. I sincerely think these are the same people who told Uhuru Kenyatta that Raila Odinga cannot be the president. Uh, these are the same people who propagated and made sure that William Ruto becomes the president of Kenya. That is what keeps on ringing in my mind. I don't know whether Andrew, you've got a different opinion about what happens in our political scene.
No, I think as you guys hit everything on the nail on the head. Um, he was outmaneuvered, and he could not foresee the future. And if you watch Lord of the Rings, when Sauron comes and convinces this guy, that's Ruto. Ruto, I think, played some serious chess on on him on the DP, and I think he was also the DP was probably he overshot when he probably saw, because we see it from this impeachment that there was a signing with Ruto and his cronies on the shares. So I think from the DP part, he probably had a narrow focus on just trying to say, okay, how do I position myself for the next stage? Because at the end of this, really what's happening here, and there's another deeper conversation that needs to happen, is one, we're going into the fourth industrial revolution, and two, people are positioning their companies, their entities to, take up a lot of this
Mhm.
huge money and this digitization that's happening. And I think that's something that, the DP probably saw the magnitude of business coming through the continent or Kenya, and not being bright, hyper focused within his region, where if he was bright, he should have, traversed the country, but still come back and talk about resources and another narrative, So, and him calling people out, being defiant. Sometimes you don't have to bow to the king to win, but winning is everything. So his strategy wasn't right.
And I agree with you because when you are in politics and you are looking at during the campaigns, you
Yeah,
find
hold on.
out.
Before you finish, real quick,
All right.
one thing: politics is not personal.
Yeah.
We never know. These guys could be at the back end. At the end of the day, their businesses will still work together.
Hmm.
So it could be a ploy. Also, we don't know.
Yeah. True. But what also I wanted to contribute is about when they go for political rally or they have a political um, a gathering. You know what usually happens before public rally to say they have to sit down somewhere and have what we call the messaging. What kind of message are we going to give the public, and what kind of audience are we targeting, and what messages do they want to listen to? So especially when you look at Mount Kenya, then when they were doing campaign, one of the very good messagings that was working was about attacking the first family, and that was something that was really, really acceptable. And they did it so well in a way that it was like a poisonous that
Hmm.
was so much spread in the community that the name of the former president could not, or nobody wanted to talk about the former president. And they say that everything, the challenges that they are going through, be it financial, be it what is because the president doesn't care about them. And there was this Messiah that was being brought to them that is going to cure or is going to make sure that those challenges, ranging from the prices of the milk, the price of coffee, the prices of miraa, this is the Messiah that was going to do that.
Yeah,
And
we got
what,
hoodwinked.
yeah, and the Messiah, what the Messiah did, because he knew very well that there was that kingdom that should not be, you should not always attack the king. He gave the deputy president the role
Hmm.
to attack the king. With
Yep.
him, he was not attacking the king. You would only see him smiling.
Yep.
Yeah. So right now, you attacking the king. Now the powers are not there. He's the only mistake that is being seen. Yeah, is you. Yeah, you can now listen to people say alituambia mapema tukakata, we were told tukakata.
Hmm.
Even him himself, he regrets big time that I wish I knew. So those are some of the downfalls that has coming, and now even welcoming him back home. Yeah, it's not so much very easy. There are people
Yep.
who still cannot open up and say, okay, now come. There are only few, not all, that can welcome him back home, but the majority of them are not, and saying that they might forgive you, but they cannot forget. And they
Hmm.
say that you are the main reason why we are here.
Yep.
You made us to believe in this, and now we are paying a price because of you.
You made a good point earlier when you said that if he was smart, he should have asked the previous president for succession,
Yeah,
and that would have been, a pass of the baton. But he got played to spit on the king, and then now he got played,
yeah,
and he can't come back and say I'm sorry,
yeah.
because you're the one who advocated for this guy, and you got played.
You guys are saying Gachagua apologized many times in the public to William Ruto. He apologized. If it was he went with his family, the Mount Kenya elders went to see the president. I mean, what did he want? What did you want him to do other than that?
He, first of all, if I was him, he went to uh the Hurus, asked for forgiveness. Great, but I don't think he should have. Uh, if I was, I don't know how to advise that, but what I would say, over apologizing and a balance of power is a fine line that he should have played a little bit better. Well,
Yes.
he's not out of the race right now,
Mm.
but still, he would still need to go and consolidate his the ground, and that means still connecting with the Uhurus, and that also means, you know, uh, trying to reconcile the mistakes that he's made, the missteps, not mistakes, because at the end of the day, we don't know what he was thinking, but outside looking in, you're looking at someone who was told, because the one thing that we've seen from this impeachment process is how the back end of government works. We all go for politics. The person who wins, we carve out businesses. And the businesses are people who make decisions who are the levels of power. I give you the Senate, I give you this, I put this number of people in parastatals, you know. So it becomes this shift of people who are running mechanisms of the country.
Mm.
Yeah. Now the Gachagua stands impeached. As you all know, he was he was impeached while not in the Senate. Neither his lawyers were in the Senate. He was sick in hospital. I don't know what the law says about that, Bernard. Maybe you've
Yeah, I'm
You know,
curious.
okay, Andrew can go. Uh,
Andrew, and can you come closer to your mic?
Yeah, yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, I said I'm
yes, yes.
curious. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we can hear you better. Mm. Now, I don't know what the law says about impeaching someone who is in hospital bedridden and is not represented in the Senate. He has taken the matter to the court. I think the court have said they have pronounced that they have stopped the swearing in of Kindiki.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
No, what is happening? The court, what the court did, they gave conservatory order on the impeachment that was done in the Senate. So, which means the higher. I'm not I do not have legal background, but the conservatory order was halting everything um, so that they could find time to go and they have a bench that is going to be constituted to listen to the matter. Then from there, the decision will be made. And this is because he was not given a fair hearing. Oh, yeah, and he was not also represented in the chambers because he felt ill and he was taken to the hospital. And the law of natural justice requires that you have to be heard, you know. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that is what the law requires. And you can be heard, especially in this situation where they were, especially when it comes to Senate. He can be heard through one cross examination when you cross examine him on the charges and giving out the allegation by saying, "Oh, I don't know about that," and that. By that, you're being heard. That is one of it. Secondly, you can also be heard by you speaking about them. So he did not get that fair hearing. So that one, I think, makes it lawful to say that he did not get that. So the High Court can do that. And another something that many people are talking about is about the Senate, about what Kingi did. They said the speaker for higher house did a very good thing because when the council requested for time up to Tuesday, the Kingi said to them that it can only happen on Saturday. Then what the Kingi did, because he said he cannot make the judgment, he gave the question to the senators on the floor, and the senators decided to do that. So it is upon the senators that now, why did they have to do it yet they had 2 days?
Yeah.
And yeah, the reason why I say they had to do it, if you look at the process of the impeachment of the deputy president, it was well calculated and well predetermined. The outcome was there because everything was written on the wall. And it started from the parliament. You saw how it it was so much chaotic in parliament. It took the entire day talking about the deputy president, but the only thing they can talk about was the shareholding. That was one. When it came to Senate, something that people did not see coming was about what Sifuna did. And people thought maybe Sifuna is going to support the DP or Sifuna is for the DP. He decided not to second the motion. And that one means the motion was now not going in the committee, was going now plenary, and you saw what happened, you know. And when you look at even voting on how the voting was done, it was also very calculative, you know. They say, okay, out of 11, we will take five out of you and charge you with that. So this thing was so much calculated.
I think even that Sifuna thing could have been calculated just to give that
Yeah,
Yes,
energy
of
of
course.
like
thank you, Andrew. Thank you,
that
Andrew.
oh, we're doing something.
I missed that thing that Bernard has just mentioned. I
It
thought
was.
that, I thought in my thinking, Bernard, I
Mm.
thought that okay, this Sifuna guy, maybe he's going to support Rigiji, but you see, it was calculated this way. If the speaker of the Senate chose the 11 member committee to investigate on the matter, it would be a easier committee to manipulate.
Let me tell you, Kindiki is gonna get dropped. Sifuna is gonna jump in 2027.
Oh,
No,
Sifuna.
no,
Yeah, for
no,
DP. Watch.
no,
Andrew, that is
no,
2027.
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
No, you're so
Let me,
far.
let me tell you, it cannot go there. Even him. Let me tell you something about Sifuna. Sifuna also is sitting in a wait and see seat because one, when you look at the political parties in Kenya, all the position that Sifuna is holding, Secretary General, in all the political parties, none of them have gone through democratic election in those. They are appointed. You serve at the mercies of the political party leader. And remember what Kaluma said when Sifuna made some comment. He said, even those positions you are holding, they are in interim basis. So, which means you have to play in line with what the master wants. If you don't, you will be kicked out. So him himself, he's in a very wait and see.
But
You,
who is his master?
the master is the right honorable is the
Raila
honorable.
Odinga is the master.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And he's the one who's going to place him there, I
no,
think. You
I
don't
don't.
think
No,
so?
no,
No, no, no, no, no, no.
he's not in his metrics of in his calculations. In
Yeah.
right
Oh,
in that
let's
part,
let's put a bet on it 2027. I see some things happening
Yes.
there.
at
Um,
2027, this is what is going to happen.
I see some things happen.
Andrew, this is what is going to happen in the political scene in 2027. We will have ODM uh, merging with the UDA to form a coalition,
yes.
which will have a name, which will have a name. I think maybe it will be unveiled next week, by even December. I think when you're going for Christmas, this party will be unveiled. The
Right.
vehicle that William Ruto is going to use in in 2027, it will be unveiled very, very soon.
I
Very
And
agree.
it will have ODM members.
And
So Ruto is seeking re-election. Remember,
yeah,
he's seeking re-election, and definitely is going to seek re-election with Kindiki.
no.
Yeah, all the signs are on Kindiki. But
He's let me
before
tell you
this,
how he's gonna play us.
hmm?
He's gonna do exactly what you said, get another party. He's gonna flip it and say that tell Kindiki, hey, I said I was gonna get a chick as the VP, so let's get this chick here. She's going to open up the doors and soften up how he's going to look on the grand stage. It probably might be Honorable Raila Odinga's daughter.
Now, if he does that, he
uh,
loses the mayor vote.
Yeah,
We are looking at the game of vote, how to divide the game of vote.
yeah. Yeah. What is here now? What is on the table is about because if you look at the central Kenya, actually they've played part in terms of the re-election or the election of any political party or any presidency. And right now, and I think he has calculated very well. And he has decided that the Prof. Kindiki is going to be the DP right now. And what will happen? Majority of visits, I tell you, the visits that will be in central Kenya immediately, because right now the population are still in emotions,
Yeah.
Yeah, emotions are still very high in the population of the central Kenya. Right now, there's nothing that is going to take place. What will happen in case if Kindiki becomes the DP, what will happen? There will be a homecoming, which sometimes the reception might not be as good, or the majority of population will be ferried to
Yeah.
that function.
Well, they'll be paid and they'll show up because it's a
Yes,
lot of the youth.
yeah. So there's so much commercialization that is going to take place to give the indication that perception that things people have accepted and move on.
And he's also a strong man, so he'll also he'll put fear into people to show up as well.
Yes. So, and you will use the state resources and
Correct.
chiefs and all that to come
Yeah.
and say, yeah, no,
And
no,
that's
you
the
have,
only reason, and that's the only reason he's there right
yeah,
now,
yeah,
because he's going to do all the dirty work.
yes. So then, after all the emotions and people have moved on, Rigathi Gachagua has decided now I want to engage in business. Now, that's when now he will start now visiting, coming to the churches. Tunaambia tumewaletea huyu, tulikuwa na mashida kidogo, lakini saa hizi zile changamoto ambayo mlikuwa nayo, huyu ndio sasa atatatua, you know. So is giving that hope, and so many people might say yes. Then that one now will bring in people, and now this promise of goodies will come. And Kenyans. One thing with Kenyans, there's love for the country and the love for particular people. Majority of Kenyans do not love their country.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. If people could have, if the majority of Kenyans could love their country,
Yeah,
and even this fight that is happening between this political class, don't care about it. But how can we liberate our country? What is the way forward? But you
absolutely. I
find like
agree with you.
what is going on right now. So many Kenyans are so much deep in it. Yeah. Forgetting about the country that has given them the birth. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that is what is costing us. Until that time, we will learn to love our country and not
man.
play psychophancy to our leaders. Then everything that we want will fall in place, and we
I
will
think
build a good
that's what we
country.
need to do.
Yeah.
We need to like a love campaign to like
Yeah.
bring people to look at themselves and their country
Agree.
in a different like, just like you said,
Yeah.
that's such a sad statement. Kenyans don't love themselves, love their country, and I can accept it because even you look at it from a lot of perspectives, we don't support our music the right way.
Yeah.
Even here, when people say, "Oh man, I'm not gonna cater to Kenyan nightclubs,"
Yes.
because which is a truth thing, which is sad. But yeah, you're right. We need
Yeah.
to
That
find a way
love.
to get.
Now, Ben, you bring a very important topic, and Kenyans don't love their country. They don't love their country that much,
Yeah.
to dedicate their service to their country. Yet there are people out there who are agents of change. People like Andrew, people like you and I, and so many people out there who really want real change for the country called Kenya. But they are looking at the political scenario and looking at the candidates who are there. Most of them are tainted with corruption. Others are even murdered, you know, and they are in parliament and they are scattered all over in the political uh, arena. Now, people are talking about Tata. People are talking about uh, Eric Omondi. People are talking about Okuru Okot. People are talking about now Rigathi Gachagua. People are talking about Nete Bear. People are talking about Morara.
Murara.
What do you think about? Let me give you an example of one of the candidates,
Mhm.
Morara.
Yeah.
What do you think about this guy?
Uh, you know, um, Morara is doing a good job. Yeah. But the problem now comes to Morara where now the question of, and the reason why I told you we don't love our country. People keep on asking, anapata pesa yake wapi? They don't look at what he's doing. They're looking at how do he get to do that? Where does he get the money? Even though people have contributed, and that's why you saw when people went for public participation, you could see members of the public who are even older than him could throw stones or could throw those chairs on him. Remember, this is a Kenyan who is trying to tell you this is what is happening. And you have the energy to go after this guy. This is a Kenyan, you know, and you could even hear the utterances of the people that we say we give the leadership. Mtu akakwambia hiyo ndio utamu wa Nairobi. Yeah, what does it tell you? It tells you how selfish we are. That a point
Yeah,
whereby even the younger person, a very young person who is just trying to show the love for his country and say like, look, this is what is happening. And what happens? You beat him up. Look at what is now happening to Casmuel, you know? He's speaking quite much different on what we thought of him, you know. That one does not.
What has happened to Kasmuel? What has happened to Kasmuel?
self-preservation.
Yeah. So it is not love for the country. It is first of all, um, it is love for your first of all, you love yourself more than your country. And I can share with you, there was a time we were in another forum and I was telling majority of the panelists and the people who are listening to us, we've made it an habit when we come to the shows like this, we go on attack mode, especially we attack these leaders. And I was asking myself, what is the difference between us and them when they are in a political rally? Because that is what they do. Yeah. Are we really creating a new path for the nation? Because we do the same thing. We talk on attack how so and so is like this. And I say, like, why can't we as a people of Kenya and say that, okay, what kind of the politics and the path that we want to create, the path of issues, rather than attacking, let us reason. We reason with them by giving the facts, but we don't attack. Can that one work? And that
It
one
can,
is where brings me with the love for the country.
yeah. Let me tell you one idea I've been having, and can't wait to see it happen. Political debates with an AI moderator
Yes,
who can fact check at the moment what they've
yes,
said.
yeah, that one would be good.
Political debate with an AI moderator. Andrew will not disappoint when it comes to technology.
Yeah.
Now, you've said one thing, Bernard. You are evading my question. Is
Mhm.
that how do you see Morara as a potential presidential candidate uh, for Kenya?
He's a good is a very the issues that he talk about, the issues, because it is about the issues and the vision. Yeah, the vision is good. The vision can liberate the country. Is a good candidate. Anybody would vote, including me. As time goes, I will monitor and say, okay, this is somebody that I can vote for, because when your country thrive, you thrive too. You know it because if a country is doing well, you will also do well, especially for those in diaspora. I usually say this. Don't say that I'm in diaspora, I don't care what is happening in Kenya. But remember, there are family members back in Kenya who needs your support. So if the country is not doing well, which means what you will be sending home will be a lot, or the expectation will be so high, you know. So for me, Morara is doing well. He needs the support. Yeah. But also he has to listen, because the other time I had a discussion again in my platform about him, especially when it comes to the communication. And now it is that time that he should have a communication team. He should have the committee that will um, scrutinize what should be published what should be given to the population. Because remember, he said the deputy, you he said that he called the deputy president, and at the time that he was calling the deputy president, he was going through a lot. That is not the time to call somebody. That is one. Then I was also talking a issue of using I. You know, when you use I, especially something that you want to involve the public, better use the word we. So the public can own it. Yeah. We decided as the inject party that this is what we are going to do, not I decided. You know that. So it's just like having um a committee and a group of people that share the same ideology, the same vision that you have. Yeah. Those who are vetted with the background, somebody that is not coming to sabotage the 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 movement. So he's a good guy. He has a vision for the country, you know, and in his age, he's the only person with a political parties compared to other political bigwigs who has a political party like Kalonzo Musyoka. We categorize them in the same state, same structure of those who have political parties. So is somebody that should be supported. Eric Omondi too is doing a good job, but I would want to see them, because all of them are advocating for a better Kenya. Yeah, yeah. They might be fighting difference and having different message, but at some point they should come together and compare notes, and maybe even have rallies together on the
Yeah,
public way.
yeah, yeah. How do we get these people together?
Yeah, that's now.
We tell them they need to. We've seen the template of how government. We've seen the template of how government is formed.
Yeah,
We just nudge them and say, "Listen, you all can't be president, but you all have visions on how it can change." With Eric entertainment, you've talked about how he wants to chop down MPs. You see accountability. Just give everyone a lane and say these are the lanes that we think you would be able to change the country and fill it.
yeah. So
Wow, wow. Andrew, you've heard from Bernard, you've heard his point, and you being a member of the inject team, you know what to do next in your various groups. You know what to inject in the communication. I
yeah,
mean, these are very important
and
points coming from
maybe
an outsider.
have,
Yeah.
if Andrew also can have a conversation with him, let him have ambassadors in all the counties that talks about this, because one of the things that is costing us as a nation is about awareness and civic education. Remember, Nick, when you go home and you go to a school community that you've decided today, I'm going to give, maybe I'm going to donate some books to that school. The next day, the population will tell you, wewe ndio sasa tunakupeleka. Sasa unamuuliza, kwa nini unanipeleka? Mm? Kwa sababu umetoa vitabu. So you realize that the people who are getting elected, yeah, they're not elected because they have vision, but because they take advantage and vulnerability of the society. That if I do this to the society, the reward they'll give me back is electing me. So majority of the population do not look at the policies or the vision or what, but they look at what have you done? And even if your character is that character that
I had one lawyer complaining on a talk show the other day that the Kikuyu community, they elect people according to what they have done. Unasikia Mwangi wa Iria, sijui nani wa Matangi, yeah, the things that they've done to the community. But when you
mm,
look at the substance and what they can contribute in either in the Senate or in Parliament, zero.
yeah,
So yeah, that lawyer was really complaining about the caliber of leaders that come into Parliament. Some of them have not even cannot even construct a sentence in English.
yeah. So
Yeah, they cannot even draft a bill for themselves.
yeah, so
And these are the leaders that we look up upon to bring a motion and impeach the president, the deputy president or the president.
yeah,
And so I think the bar is too low on the impeachment of this leader.
yeah.
Mm.
And I agree with you, Nick. The you know the members of parliament, they thought they were doing something that would raise the bar in terms of impeachment, because some of them are saying, and if you're somebody that is in the intelligentsia class, you would know that this is a politics that with Gachagua going now, the issue of ethnicity and tribal is going to end. I say, like, where are you living? Where unaishi wapi? So when it comes to the bar of impeachment, it's they've made it to be numbers, not process. If you have numbers, you can impeach any president. And that one will be very difficult, especially for a president who will come in office with lesser numbers and make slight mistake. That will be the end of him. Because provided that you have numbers, it doesn't matter. Go to the Senate, you are doing cross examination, they cross they, they, they the attorneys will do all that what is required by law. As somebody who is a motion mover, even if you do not have issues, provided that there's a big or there's lawyers that are backing you, you know, you're good. And they've lowered the bar in terms of impeachment, even though they are saying we are proud that our democracy has grown. That one has not made the democracy to grow. Democracy does not grow that way, in which you impeach based on gauging on the numbers, but not on the issues.
Yeah, we have a lot of work to do,
Yeah,
especially civic education.
yeah, that civic education is needed.
That's what I'm focused on, and we have to start from the ground, starting with the youth. The kids, primary school, K through 12, adults, shorshors, rukas.
Yeah,
Like everybody. But I think also simple ways that civic education can be imparted or delivered is with technology. You
yeah,
know,
mm,
one of the ways I think, and if you right now there's a website, United States. I think I can't remember the name, but it's a breakdown of the GDP and the functioning of how much debt we are in. You
mm,
know, a website that tracks that is important. I think also. Um, I was following a group on X, a bunch of very vigilant youth who are on tech built a Notion site that they have aggregated all the politicians' promises and have kind of like a clock that checks and validates
yeah,
if those promises have been executed or not.
mhm,
Now imagine having a life system like that, that they make a promise, it's tracked on a site.
mhm,
If by the time they're out of office it's not done, you can't get into politics. Essentially, you're done, you're barred. I think The game we need to play, and I deviated a little bit because I wanted to talk about this, but the game we need to play is, even with this Adani deals and all that, we say yes, okay, go ahead, we're for it, let's get it done. The caveat: we need to digitize a public system on the blockchain that everyone can see and has access to. Have a sovereign AI within each department that any citizen can query and find out. But we need to start talking about governance and the digitization of governance systems.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's such a wonderful point, Andrew, where we can monitor all our leaders in one platform, what they are contributing in parliament, what they have said in parliament, and we give them marks in that in on that platform. So you
Yeah.
can easily go into Parliament of Kenya, look at what your leader is doing, his contribution. I think, Andrew, you need to come with that thing ASAP. That is a platform that would be so active.
There's someone who has it already. I can't remember the name of the website. It's a bunch of kids.
What?
I'll find it for you. Yeah, they have
Oh man, you need
pictures,
to send me the link for
ratings.
for that
I'll
platform,
I'll find
so
it
that
for you.
that is great.
Yeah, they
That
have
is
the pictures now. Like I said, all they need to do is create a way to automate it to where, right, we can in real time text our votes up or down, check in, send photos when we see, like aggregating data on these people, on the positives or negatives.
now.
Okay.
My Even as we try to wind up, I would want us to look into uh, the ethnic tension that this impeachment has brought. Uh, I have seen a lot of people from the Kikuyu community really condemning and the uncertainty that it is bringing to the people of Central Province on what is next for them. Ben, in a few words, do you think that the Central people, people will back Gachagua in 2027, or they back an alternative candidate in 2027?
That that
Uh,
that will depend on how the case will end. If at all the courts will not reinstate him, because as we speak right now, we have, I can say we have two deputy president. There is a deputy president that is appointed.
we have
Uh,
two deputy presidents. We have Kindiki and Gachagua.
because Gashagwa is in office by conservatory order that was given, and Kindiki is in office by following the process of parliament, whereby even is yet to be sworn in today, if not. Yeah.
Let's hold on to that topic. Like, isn't the deputy president supposed to be get votes? How are you just going to appoint someone?
So what is happening? What they were saying is that because the deputy president has been impeached, yeah, he can appoint, then forward the name to the IBC, which I think he did, and I don't know who recommended that to um the house. Then the house voted on it. So that's why he said that he's appointed, is voted. Yeah.
I would like to say they would say these are the three candidates. Everyone put a vote in. We have 14 days to make a vote. Pick a person. You know how
No,
you just
the
gonna say, oh, that's the person I want.
yeah, the president decides to have a meeting, then he appoints among the list that he has, then he has to forward the name, I think, to IBC, then IBC will recommend it to the uh, to the to the house. So as things stand, on I do not have legal background, but like as things stand today, we have two deputies. We have one in office with conservatory order, and we have the one that was approved by the parliament. So in the event that things status change and Rigathi still maintain the presidency, I don't think. the Mount Kenya will back him. Yeah, and will back him in the sense that as we speak, he's the highest ranking member from Mount Kenya that is holding the highest office, despite the fact that he has gone through a lot. Yeah. Secondly, it is going to be mixed with emotions because, like, if you listen to people, people say that on how the president, the former president, um, would just ignore Ruto and be with him despite all that for 2 years and did not impeach him or did not harm him. But now with Gachagua, it's only 2 years and impeachment has taken place. So it comes with emotion, you know. So he might come as a deputy president or he might come as a president, which in Kenya right now, you cannot be a president without having a coalition. It's not very easy. You know, you have to coalesce around these big political parties or about tribes. That is one.
I don't think he'll be president.
Yeah. So he cannot. So another thing also, I had this view that the deputy president, due to the fact that what he has seen, he said this, let me fight this. And I'm putting my political career at risk. Yeah. But I want to make sure that I fight. If I lose, that's how I say I quit politics. But I will be a player in decision making when it comes to politics.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that is it. I will be doing business. I will not be you come like a surrogate,
he'll be a kingmaker.
a kingmaker. He will be influencing the decisions that, especially when it comes to Mount Kenya. And that one will resonate with so many of the people from the mountain. And you could see that even the young people, and this is something that I don't know whether people saw, even the young people, the younger people, even though the deputy president was not as loved as we think. But what has really happened has touched the young people
Yeah.
too.
Hmm.
That is something that is there.
Because I'll tell you something. As soon as I heard it, maybe because I'm Kikuyu, I felt for a second like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah,
You know? Then I was like, "Ah, it's okay. It's not my problem."
yeah. And now the thing that one scenario also that make it even to go deeper into veins is the situation. This is somebody that is down,
Yes.
is in the hospital. This guy is
That's really what it was, because it's like, man, he's in the
yeah,
hospital, and
yeah,
then there's this rumors he might be poisoned. I was like,
yeah.
damn, these people are
And the
ruthless.
propaganda. And it touches the young generation too.
Yeah.
Even though we say that the young generation are partyless, but it has touched them and it told them like, oh, this is how is being
Mhm.
treated. You
Yeah.
know, this is one of our own, and it touches. So it is something that will stay forever in the minds of the younger generation who are coming. They will be very very cautious on how to deal,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to issues to do with leadership and how having these higher positions. They will need a surety
Yeah.
if at all one of somebody from that region in a coalition will be given a deputy president seat or even the president. What surety are you giving us that it's not going to happen again to us? So
Yeah.
that is something that also you have to look at.
You bring a point that I want to think or
Yeah.
lay on for a second. There's this energy of how this politicians, and this is a global issue. There's a political elite around the world who, in the next 20 years, who are not going to be part of this planet, and there's an opportunity for where you see this digital native generation say we're leaderless, we're partyless, but they are very emotionally connected to good, like real,
Yeah.
because they have access to knowledge, real time, people around the world. They're not just localized to their local information, you know. So they're not going to forget, and yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. But I just hope that this because corruption and the way uh, going back to the comment that you said, loving your country
Country, yes.
is something that needs to be reignited. And I don't know how that's going to happen, but I think days like Mashuja Day are important days to really find a way to tap into that emotion that is Kenyan, you
Mhm.
know. Or if we go back to moments when we were getting independence, those pivotal moments when everyone is resonating on the same frequency
Yeah.
needs to happen again.
Wow. I'm joined by Jimmy Onkangi. Jimmy, karibu sana Afrik 24. And guys, if you're out there and you've not subscribed to Afrik 24, please do so. Go to your YouTube page and make sure that you've subscribed to this channel. That is what keeps us going. Keep your subscriptions done. Make sure that you hit on the bell so that when you have this show, uh, on our platform. You can watch it on Brother Benson's platform also. Uh, Go there, look at what we are doing on the social platform, trying to educate our people on the best way of governance and the best way to choose the right leader. And talking about the real issues that affect the Kenyan people. So, Karibu Sada to Freak 24. If you've seen the link, click on the link and you jump on the platform and we share ideas as Kenyans because we need to keep this conversation going. I'm joined by Jimmy Okangi. Jimmy Okangi is not new on Africa. This is it's coming for the second time on Africa. Karibu sana, Jimmy, and tell us what you feel about what is happening at the country at the moment. Jimmy, all right,
Yes.
Karibu.
Hey, Nick. Thank you very much. Sorry that I joined late. Nilikuwa nishaingia kujenga magorofa. But this is a very interesting topic. Thanks for creating the platform. Yeah, what is going on home ni kitu ingine ngumu sana. It's something that very hard to explain, to be quite honest with you. I I've listened to what Andrew is saying. I actually tend to agree with a lot of the sentiments that he's bringing forth, but it's also a, a disappointment that I actually call it witch hunt. Um, I didn't see anything, to be quite honest with you, if I had a privilege to be either a member of parliament or a senate in those sittings, I would have voted no. And simply reason why I would have voted no, it did seem to me that a lot of those things that the senators were uh, considering uh, gross violations of everything that the deputy president did, that they were quite personal. It had nothing to do with law and what the deputy president had done, because when you listen to that testimonies and the videos that were being shared there, even the president himself talks about shares. The things that uh, Rigathi Gachagua was accused of, the president was actually also doing the same rhetoric. Like, I didn't see any difference between what Mr. Ruto and Gachagua accusations. I actually tend to believe that we just needed to get rid of both of them. Uh, it's it's it actually goes a long way saying, while we think we got the best constitution that is guiding us, we are actually going back to the Moi days, because when you look at even the way that they actually handle the impeachment, why would you do public participation after the parliament has really impeached the deputy president? Would you think that maybe public participation could have happened even before this thing went to parliament? So to me, it was a total witch hunt. They really were determined. Even when you see the Gazette notice, you look at the Speaker of the Senate request for 5 minutes to go consult, comes up with 4 or 5 pages of a document that, in all honesty, that document could have not been I mean, it wasn't created in that 5 7 minutes that he went behind the Senate. So I think even the Gazette notice. So this is things that were predetermined. And look, there is a court injunction trying to stop the impeachment of CS Kindiki, but they are going forward with the nomination of the deputy president, and with regard of the court orders. So in my view, quite frankly, I just think that this is a witch hunt, and it was even very wrong. And I think going forward, we shouldn't even be using Bible verses in those houses, because that's just it didn't sound right for me. So yeah, I think our country is headed towards the wrong direction. I do think that we do need a lot of soul searching. We do need a lot of self talk as a country. We do need a lot of prayers, because I do not see any light at the end of the tunnel. I only see dark, and it's gonna get worse. We have just done away with the deputy president. Now the next thing that they are actually going is the 7 year term. So in my view, we are headed towards the wrong directions, and we do need an about turn. That's really what I can say. It's
You,
sad. Mhm.
Jimmy, you brought in something that is eluding us. The 7 year term that was being proposed silently, although Ruto rejected it and said, me, I only need a 5 year term. Now, these members of parliament and the senators and the governors know that this is something that would be uh, advantageous to them. It is a bill that, if it is brought in the floor on the floor of the house, they pass it like yesterday. The rush to impeach Gachagua, even after impeachment, the president had 14 days to select among his team the best deputy president. But as we all have seen, this was predetermined. This was something that they had decided. And it brings us back to the rule of law. When does the executive in Kenya obey an independent body like the judiciary? The process has been stopped, but the ceremony, I understand, will go on tomorrow as planned to swear in Kindiki as the next VP.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to happen. Ben, am I right?
There are some photos surfacing on the internet where is it the economic advisor for the president, Honorable Moses Kuria, was somewhere in the Uhuru Gardens, Yeah. So people are saying that. But now, my question is, when it comes to swearing, who usually does the swearing?
Yeah, you're right.
Me lawyer. I think I
Oh,
saw something like Osoro, Sylvanus Osoro is actually will be the one doing the swearing in. I'm not quite sure, but I just think any lawyer
doesn't
can.
it have to be the judiciary that
Oh,
a
judiciary
representative
has to,
judiciary?
because it's either chief justice or the registrar
Yeah.
at the at registrar of judiciary, of the courts. So if the order came from the court, will they defy the order Yet
Yeah.
that's coming from the court. So that is the question. So if it fails, who is going to swear him in?
And if he does get sworn in,
Ah,
it's first of all the levels of uh, defacing the judicial system is really what's also happening.
so that those are some of the questions that we are saying, that how will the judiciary be it that if it is if not even chief justice or anybody, but it's the judge, how will he not obey the order that is in place and go ahead and do the swearing in?
And
So
this is go back to when you say this is why Kenyans should love themselves.
yeah, Kenya should love their country.
Actually,
When
no one should show up for that thing.
yeah, oh, the leaders are going to show up. Yeah, I
Yeah,
tell
the
you.
leaders, but the people should be like, hey, we're not showing up.
Yeah, so
That would be amazing, but it's not going to happen because it's going to be a paid group to show up.
to show up. Yes, the commercialization of the politics and is usually a major big business in the country, whereby people will be paid to attend some of the functions.
Mm-mm-mm. We have a
Yeah.
lot of work.
But it's also funny. I saw something actually circulating. Kindiki, being a state officer, does not belong to a party. And you saw when the ODM brigade joined the government as CS, they were they had to be replaced by their party with someone else, meaning that a state officer does not belong to a party. So Kindiki, when did he become a member of a party? And the constitution says that you have to have belonged to a party for the last 3 months or 90 days um, for you to be eligible to be nominated as president, member of parliament, or even as a deputy president. And I remember even the members of parliament, you remember one of the qualifications is that either you have to be, if you have to be an independent candidate, you have to be partless for the last 90 days. If you want to run on ODM, you got to be a party for that party for 90 days. So the legality of even I think the constitution has, I mean, I think we never read the constitution very well, or these people did read the constitution. In my view, I think if you read that constitution, Kindiki or a majority of those people that could have been nominated would not fit the bill. I'm not quite sure. I
I
haven't
have a
really.
question.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, go ahead.
if Ruto goes ahead and nominates him, and along with all this other constitutional underminings that he's done, does that mean he can go down the road and uh, basically take it to court to amend the constitution due to this underpinnings that the parliament has and the senate has co-signed to deface the constitution?
No, they will not do that. Let me tell you something that is happening with the political class in Kenya. The political class in Kenya is when the constitution does not favor them, they will complain. But if it favors them, they will. But at sometimes they go against the constitution. And one of the perfect example is when the broad-based government was formed. You know, in the parliament, there are committees that um, if you if you work with the government, you should not hold those committees, especially the PAC. You know, the standing orders that not allow you to be the chair of the PAC. Actually, if your party is working with the government, you know, but you know, the ODM is say that they're not working with the government, but they donated their experts. But from the impeachment process, you saw it the indication was there that indeed they seems to be reading from the same script, you know. So I think our leadership, they do not obey or they do not respect the law.
I need to go read the Constitution. That's what I need to do.
Yeah, they don't. Um, they not. So it will happen. It will, anything that they want. It will happen. They doesn't care, because at the end of the day, the president enjoying the immunity. You know, when he's in office. Remember, you can disregard the constitution, or disobey the court summon or the court orders. But since you're in the presidency, that immunity is there. The only time that it can catch up with you, immediately you leave office. That's now
So the
when,
president has the immunity to disregard the Constitution.
yeah, there are areas that he can disregard. Yeah, if we you find that sometimes, remember, sometimes you cannot even take him to court, or mzalendo. Si kuna wakati huwezi mpeleka, due to the presidency. It's very rare when he's still sitting.
No, the president of Kenya is above the law.
Yeah,
When he's still in office.
when
You
you are
see,
in,
yeah,
when you,
yeah, yeah, yeah. What Jimmy had brought is that you know the constitution never saw this, never addressed this kind of scenario, but it addressed the scenario where these people are being elected into office, that they have to be a fair and they have to belong to a political party. But in case of impeachment, then the constitution again goes blank
If the
on
guy's
whether
above
they
the
have
law,
to
then what are
be.
we trying to do to impeach him? He'll just say no.
Hmm?
If he's above the law, then what are we trying to say? Kufa dereva kufa makanga. Dereva is
no,
a talker.
in terms of process on how you can remove it to office, the process is there. But let's take, for example, that he defies, like a situation whereby you can go to court and now say that I have this case against the presidency. Um, Sometimes you might find the court might delay the cases until he's out of the office. That's when it can become so much active.
Yeah, you see, of the grounds of impeaching a president in Kenya are the same as the grounds of impeaching the deputy. Only that, what is the difference uh, of the what is the difference in Kenya? I've forgotten what there's a slight, just a slight difference, but the grounds are the same. But it's just misconduct, gross violation of the constitution. The process goes the same way in parliament. Uh, it needs at least one third of its members in parliament, and that's it. One third of its members to approve, then two thirds of its members to vote on it. Then it's forwarded to the Senate. The process of the president is just the same as the process of the deputy. But
Well,
what we are saying is that is the president of Kenya above the law?
let me say one last thing because I have to go.
Yeah.
My last point is we need to get we everyone needs to read the Constitution. That's the one thing I'm taking from this. Two, everyone needs to download ChatGPT and read the Constitution with AI. And then three, we need to be on the same. We need to be on board having a conversation on. If you didn't know, by the way, Mastercard is in charge of digitization of Kenya's East Africa's government systems. So we need to have what I said before, an AI moderator in each house, to, so we can have these answers because clearly the political elites are going to be there for a while. I think the fight has to be also with the system, and how do we play a part in a role in ensuring that the system has accountability measures in place that are transparent for the regular Mwananchi to query and find out.
Thank you.
All right, Andrew. Before you leave, maybe tell us what you will be doing in Kenya and your program, so that the people can know and go to your website. That is why we have a break here, so that we also promote people on the platform what they do.
Oh yeah, thank you. So the website is www.barbahgames.com. So that's Barbar Games. BAR stands for Bringing America's Resources. BAH to boost African hubs. In the focus point was to give esports gaming hubs resources, but also to be an activator for gaming and in high schools, because as of 2025, video games will be in the Olympics. There's a new category of Olympians, e-Olympians. So we drive that narrative around or under the umbrella of the Sustainable Development Goals. These are 17 principles set for the planet to attain by 2030, which clearly we're not. So, aligned with that, we provide education on that. Speaking of which, on the website, we are offering free coursework that I think if you're a parent and you have kids 14 and up, they should check it out. It's called The Ages of Globalization. I highly suggest it. It helps us uh, drive civic education from not only the local level but the global level as well.
Repeat the website. What's the website?
It's
Slowly.
www.barbargames.com. That's BARBAH games.com.
.com. Huh?
Yeah.
And maybe before you leave, because you mentioned about Murara, so if you can have communication with him, we have platforms where we, like my platform, I usually host leaders, especially those who can do civic education, because also we also have to have that conversation. I think because if we have even one person who is following us, by having a conversation with one of the ambassadors from his team, that one will be a change too. So because this is something that you cannot fight it by yourself. Such like platforms are there for conversation and interrogation to give more light on the issues and where the the team is going. So if at all you can reach them, you can reach Mzalendo, one of their communication team or one of their members. We can invite him on the show and at least have a conversation with them. That would be great.
Well, you're speaking with everyone on here. So all we could do is put the word out and see what happens. Because
So
I have no power in that. I'm just here to support.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you for being on Africa this evening. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and share it among your friends and family so that we can get the numbers up. Guys, you've heard about BarbaraGames.com. This is a young gentleman who is trying make things happen back at home. So we'll be in Kenya launching a company that will employ the youth, and
When?
that is what we want in our people. So karibu sana Kenya, and make sure that you visit, you viewers out there, make sure that you visit www.babragames.com. This is the end thing. This is the future. If you have got kids, they will have a learning experience with technology, and they will interact with the games. As you've also heard that the future Olympics, uh, the games will be, they call them the e-games. They will be on the
Esports. Yep.
esports will be on the Olympics, and this is a good platform for young kids who love gaming. So ukiona mtoto akicheza na kompyuta usimpige atiende usome. Cheza na kompyuta kabisa mpaka uharibu keyboard kama hii yangu imemharibika. Haya,
Yeah, yeah,
asante
yeah.
sana ndugu yangu
Thanks,
bana.
guys. I'll see you next time.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much for your
All
time.
right.
All right, we have Jimmy of Jimmy.
Mt-
We have Jimmy.
Mzalendo, I need also to leave because because I think
Oh, you're leaving. Oh, I know
we have
you.
a show that is coming in the next 3 hours.
I know you have to leave. I will. We are just winding up.
Yes.
We are just winding up the show. We have had a very long evening.
Yeah.
I'm glad Jimmy is here, although he came late. We have done 1.5 hours of the show, Jimmy. And the issues that have emerged is on governance, is on how we can strengthen the Morara campaign team, how we can make sure that Morara has numbers eventually to capture the presidency in Kenya. It is it is achievable. It is something that we have to work as a unit. And you've seen how we have a rogue country, a rogue presidency, where people don't obey the law. Parliament is compromised. I don't know, they were paid 500,000 Kenya shillings. I mean, that is sad. It is a sad day. I see people on the platform, on the social media platform, rejoicing,
Well,
trying to say, oh, tuliibiwa kura, sasa nyinyi pia sikieni ile uchungu tunasikia. Have you seen those things? Have you
yeah,
seen those things, Brother Ben?
yes, especially because this came as a result when you saw the former member of Bahati Kimani and I think it was Kimani and Wamushomba. They were so emotion of what happened, especially the when deputy former deputy fell ill. But one thing I usually say, uh, uh, our country Kenya is one of the best country that um, there's no country that I can compare with it because even if things are very tough, the comic part of it will not go away. Anything that happens, the creativity that the Kenyans have, especially on the development of issues or where the events come, it might be very painful, but when you go to social media, still in that maybe disappointment state you can still find yourself smiling. Go to TikTok, go to anywhere, X, Facebook, and everywhere, all these social platforms. There's that comic that comes with it. So some people might be saying it in a way to create a comic or comical. So, ucheke kidogo, but some of it is true what they're saying. It depends on how somebody says it, and it depends on where are your ideals and views and thoughts and values, where is it? Because like somebody was asking between Madeira and Bondo, wapi ni mbali, you know. So it depends, but it's sometimes it's comic in a way.
Anyway, Brother Ben, if you want to leave, you can leave at your own pleasure. I will still be having uh, Jimmy here. I want to interrogate him a bit to tell us what they are doing on the ground to popularize one Morara Kibasu. So
Okay.
yes,
Thank you so much, my brother.
thank you, Ben, for being part of Africa family. We
Thank
hope to see you tomorrow or Friday next week, so that we can have an intriguing show to educate our people.
Okay,
Otherwise,
no,
asante sana na uwe na usiku njema. Uh,
asante sana.
say say goodbye to say hi to New York, and
I will.
I hope you're voting for Kamala Harris.
No, I'm soon coming home. Mimi ni mtu ambaye anapenda nyumbani. Siwezi I usually say that even if you are going through challenges, Kenya is always best for me. We will
You
if
know,
ever
I always tell people in the diaspora this. There's one thing I hate when somebody asks me, "Where are you from?" I don't know. I find that racist. I don't know.
yeah, sisi tutakuja nyumbani, tutakuja kupambana kama ni shida
Yaani hiyo unaambiwa tu indirect, hapa si kwenyu.
hapa
Wewe
si kwenyu.
unatoka
So,
wewe unatoka wapi? Unajua?
eh,
Wewe unatoka wapi? Kwa hivyo tujenge Kenya, tujenge nchi yetu
and
ili tuwe na nchi nzuri
eh, eh,
ina haina ukabila, haina ukabila.
unajua shida ambayo sisi tuko nayo ni kwamba tuko na makabila mingi, hiyo ni kweli, lakini hatuja naweza sema ukabila ambayo tuko nayo ni tumeweka chuki mbele katika ukabila, na wanasiasa wameieneza sana kwa njia ya, naweza sema kwa njia yenye wananchi hawaoni ama wafahamu, au kwao wanaona ni mzuri, lakini wameiweka kwa njia ambao saa zingine inakuwa ni ngumu sana wananchi kuelewa. Lakini kama wananchi wenyewe wanaweza fika mahali ambao wanasema sisi tunataka kupenda nchi yetu, hatutaki kujua unatoka wapi. Hata kama wewe ni mkabila, wachana na ukabila wangu ama wachana na lugha ambayo mimi nasema, lakini tuweke zile changamoto ambao sisi kama wananchi tunakumbana nacho ama tunapungana nazo. Hiyo itakuwa ni sawa. Ukabila si changamoto, kwa sababu hata ukue kabila gani, kama nchi haifanyi vizuri, shida itakuja tu ya. Lakini kama nchi inafanya vizuri katika, tuseme kama uchumi imeimarika, shule tuko vizuri, upande wa afya iko vizuri, tuko sawa. Sasa hiyo nchi itakuwa imesimama imara. Kabila itakuwa tu ni kitu, itakuwa ni kama tamaduni zetu tu kama ukabila. Siku moja tukiwa na utamaduni ya, tuseme kwamba wale ambao wanatoka katika Jaluo, utamaduni wao unaita, tunasherekea, tunaonyesha ukabila yetu iko aje, unaona? So
utamaduni wetu.
unaona? Unajua kitu ambacho pia ilinishangaza kabla sijatoka. Nilikwambia sisi hatujipendi. Umeangalia watu wakifanya harusi nyumbani, nguo ambao wanavaa.
Inategemea ni harusi ya kabila gani.
No, sana sana unapata manguo ambao watu wanavaa, sana sana zinakuwa ni ukiingia kwa harusi utajua hii imetoka Nigeria hii. Asilimia kubwa.
Ni mfano wake ni mfano wa nguo ya Kinigeria, lakini mshono fundi ametoka pale Kenya.
Lakini ni wapi?
Wanaiga
So
nchi ya Nigeria.
Hiyo ndio bado hapo awali nilikuwa nimezungumzia upendo wa nchi. Katika nyanja zote ambao sisi tuko nazo, ama katika palipopote ambapo uko, hakuna mtu ambaye anaonyesha ile upendo wa nchi yao. Ni kwamba tunapenda nchi zingine.
Ningependa nitatofautiana na wewe hapo kidogo. Ukija hapa Marekani, Mkenya utamtambua kwa nini? Umeona
wristband.
Exactly, hiyo wristband. Kwa nini anavaa hiyo wristband?
Kwa sababu kwanza anaonesha patriotism.
Anapenda nchi yake.
Na ukipata watu ambao wanaweka hivi ni watu ambao wamekuja nchi za ughaibuni, wakapiga picha nyumbani, wakaomba kwamba nchi yetu ni nzuri vile tu, lakini changamoto ni uongozi. Hao ndio watu ambao wanapenda nchi yao.
Haya, Jimmy, tumeingia katika uzalendo. Hii ni chapter sasa ya uzalendo. Kwa nini tunapenda nchi yetu na kwa nini tunataka iwe na uongozi bora. Kwaheri sana brother Ben. Kwaheri sana. We love you. Keep going. We'll see you next time. Jimmy, it's now me and you. I know some other people will come and join, but I really wanted to give you time so that we can talk about your candidate, Morara Kibasu. So, what are you doing in the Morara team right now that people out there should look up to? Jimmy, uko on mute. Jimmy, can you hear me? Jimmy. Jimmy is on another call. Anyway, guys, I think we have done almost 2 hours of this particular show. And today we were just discussing about the DP's impeachment. Tomorrow we have another show. We'll be discussing another topic altogether. Uh, Stay tuned to our freak. Make sure that you've subscribed. We don't only have political shows. We have informative shows, the entertainment sometimes of this particular platform. Remember to come on board, share your ideas if you love your country. If you are in the diaspora and you wear that wristband, imepigwa rangi za Kenya, ujue wewe ni mzalendo, unapenda nchi yako. We want good governance because we believe with good governance there will be opportunities for everyone. There will be opportunities for us to go back home and and uh, and build our country, Kenya. There are a lot of people out here with a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, and they're building a foreign country. We need to go back with that knowledge and build Kenya to be the country that we desire. At least people from the diaspora have a cautious. They have learned the ways of good governance. They've learned the way things are done here. We cannot borrow everything, but there's some small bit thing of things that we need to borrow. How the judicial system works, how important is it to elect people of integrity into office. Those are the things that we look up to. How is it like? What is going to happen tomorrow? This is the executive not respecting the judiciary, another arm of government that exercises its authority. And the presidency has decided that they are going to go on with the swearing in of the next deputy president, so disregarding completely the court order. So this is the country that we live in, and that is the reason why we want good governance. We want people of integrity to occupy that office. Because once we have people of integrity, we will not have the killings that have been happening in Kenya. We will not have the abductions that have been happening in Kenya. We will not have the nepotism that is happening in Kenya. We will not have this class of rich people, the capitalists that are controlling the economy. The Kenyan economy is controlled by a few individuals. They could not be more than 20 individuals controlling the economy of Kenya. They're the people who decide who becomes the president, what they are going to do with the country, and what they're going to do with the businesses. You saw what happened with Adani. Uh, Jimmy, are you available now or you're still on the call? If you're available, just unmute your mic and we'll get back to the conversation. I remember what happened to Adani did. The political class has learned the art of manipulation. They are manipulating every other supporter that they have on the ground. They are manipulating them with emotion. They are manipulating them with money. They are manipulating them with all sort of things that they can come across to manipulate their political base. So we saw what the Gen Zs were able to do in the last demonstration. They came together, but today I see them scattered everywhere. This group and the voice of the people need to come together. They need to come together and work together as a unit, and we move together with other generations so that we can have sanity in our country. I think the political class is so scared of the young generation what they did. The other day, I saw them jamming a court session that is in process, and that was wonderful. I don't know what the court was discussing. I think it was discussing something to do with the Dani. They hacked into the system and they jumped the system completely. You know, this shows how extreme the young people are agitated by the government. And the government of William Ruto had come very close to sorting out the problem with Kenya. When he threw out the finance bill, that was the first finance bill to be thrown out, and each and every article deleted in the whole world. Something like that has never happened. So we have again written history that we are the first country that a finance bill was brought and taken to the president, and he took it back to parliament, and they deleted each and every article in the finance bill. It has never happened in the world, but it has now happened in Kenya. We are number one. So it was a good thing for the Gen Zs who and the organizers those protests. I know they have been intimidated, they have been tortured, but some of them are coming out, as Tony coming out, and is coming out to really talk about the issues that are affecting the country. I want them to join forces with Morara, join forces with Eric Omondi, join forces with other people, because we need a team that will be able uh, to face Raila Odinga and William Ruto on the ballot in 2027. Otherwise, the young people, are going to be led by this generation for a long time. They've already started lining up. I said earlier on that the election rigging has already begun. IBC is already being selected by a few political parties, meaning ODM and UDA are already doing the selection of the IBC commissioners. Uh, the church is also represented there, and the Law Society of Kenya has somebody. I don't know whether the Civics Society has somebody on board, but they should be having somebody on board. But this thing, I don't know why they put it in a lot of secrecy. It's something out there in the open, just the way they pitch the deputy president. We should also be discussing these things so that we know who are these referees who are going to officiate the 2027 election. The 2027 election is the most important election in the history of Kenya. It will be a very important election, and it could mark the turning point of the Kenyan politics if the Gen Zs organize themselves properly, and if the players who are agitating the government come up and agree that they are going to support one candidate. Because if everybody is going to their own direction, then the government will be able to manipulate them so easily. So I urge you guys who are out there to watch out, join Africa 24. We keep on discussing these issues so that we can have the best government, so that we can have the best leadership. And we need to be on the forefront talking about governance, accountability, and transparency. Thank you for being on this show this evening. I hope to see you next time, same time on Africa 24. So, Jimmy, your last word. Well, Jimmy inaonekana is having some siesta or something, or is in another call. So, guys, thank you very much for being part of this program this evening. We take a short break, and we'll see you again with the Dimba Lafric. Remember, Dimba Lafric talks about the EPL league. If you are an EPL fan, you can always log in on your favorite team, Manchester United, Arsenal, and blah blah, Chelsea. We analyze the games as they come. So if you're a fan, you have to have fun. You want to have some conversation regarding soccer. This is the place to be. We don't only talk about politics. We also talk about the opportunities that are being offered out there. Just a few days ago, we had an opportunity of a clinical office in Nairobi. That position has been taken over. We have one for nursing. Uh, that was also been taken over, courtesy of one of our members who had an opportunity, and we advertised it here, and somebody got a job. So they are going to put some bread on the table, courtesy of you people out there who are watching African, giving me the information about the opportunities that you have for our Kenyans. If you've got a problem on land issues, we have a lady who comes here, lives here in Delaware. She's been working in the lands office for 30 years. She retired. She's working here in the US. She can tell you how to navigate the succession process in in the issues regarding land, especially in Kenya, how to buy a genuine property. If you have got your uncles taking over everything, as we had in Gachagua impeachment trial, this is the place to be. Make sure you get a freak. Make sure you follow me and ask questions. Ask questions. Get into the comment section. Get our email so that you can be asking these questions. We will help you get your land back, or we will help you follow the best channel to get your property back, or the best way to register property in Kenya, or to know whether the property is clean or it is attached with the owner or he has sold it. You know, Kenya watu ni wakora, so hapa wale wakora unatuletea, tunawamulika, tunaangalia kama hizo deal zao ziko sawa, especially kama uko hapa diaspora na uko na shida ya shamba. Acha nikwambie, kuja hapa Afrika. There's a lady, is a reverend and a pastor. She will guide you through. She's called Pastor Reverend Florence. She'll guide you through the lands office, the land procedure of acquiring land up to the process of succession and getting your title deed if you have a problem with that. So you can get all that information here. If you need it, just DM me or get my email uh, and email africd24hours at gmail.com. I'll put it down there. AFRQ. AFRQ. Afric. AFRIQ. D24hours at gmail.com. At gmail.com. At gmail. At gmail.com. So that's our email. If you've got an issue, just email Afric d24 hours at gmail.com. I'll get your email, get back to you. I'll normally respond to emails very, very, very fast. If you got, I will give you the contact of the person. And the services are free, definitely free of charge, so that we help the community in the diaspora. Wengi mmegongwa mapesa mingi sana na watu wa huko. Hapa tutakusaidia bure. But tukusaidia bure, kitu ile tunaitisha tu ni subscription. And subscribe for Africa 24. I can see our 23 people are watching right now from the diaspora. Make sure that you guys have subscribed to Africa 24. Naomba tafadhali subscribe ndio tuwe tena kesho katika hii show kuwaletea hizi vipindi bora na za manufaa katika jamii. So karibu sana Afrika tena, tutakuwa na show tena nyingine mzuri sana hapo kesho. I hope that Jimmy is back. If he's not back, then we are going to wind up this particular program tonight. Make sure that you may subscribe. I want to see you guys subscribing. Guys who are watching and have not subscribed on Africa, please do subscribe. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe. This conversation is live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and live on X platform. So make sure that you subscribe. Tomorrow we'll have another show, and we'll wind up on Sunday with the issues that are happening in our country. Tomorrow is a big one. Make sure umekuja katika hii platform na umechangia katika nchi yako. Don't just sit there and you have got the knowledge and the information that our people need. Kuja katika hizi platform uongee na Wakenya na uwaelimishe katika njia bora za uongozi na tukizingatia utamaduni wetu, yani uzalendo wa nchi ya Kenya. Otherwise, muwe na siku njema. Wale wanaenda katika inauguration, take care and be safe wherever you're going. Those who are going for the memorial or the commemoration of those who died, during this struggle, especially the young people. I dedicate my time to respect those people, young people who were killed by trigger happy policemen, by the forces, by the authority, and now the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. So their blood are on their hands. One day they will meet their maker. But for those young people who struggle for the liberation of this country, uh, we have we are yet to reach where we were going. So don't give up. Even those who are in the diaspora, we thank you for the support that you're giving for the people back at home, so that they can have a voice. You here in the diaspora, you also play a very important role. Get into the spaces, get into the platform, make sure that we keep this conversation going. This station is very, very independent. We try to cut across each and every community without being biased to any political party. There are other platforms out there that they will be inclined to discussing other issues. You'll also be banned from even airing and censored from even airing free speech, which is very, very important. But here on Africa, we give you the freedom to air your views, so long as you air it in a decent and a civil manner. It only happens in Africa. You can't get it anywhere else. Otherwise, thank you very much. And guys, karibuni sana kesho. Tuonane na muwe na siku njema.
Join us every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a captivating journey into the world of love, relationships, and romance. Presented by the dynamic trio Maggie Knox, MC Jesse, and Annie Oweru, Bed of Roses. Promises to be your weekly dose of heartwarming stories, insightful discussions, and expert advice on matters of the heart. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or simply love a good love story, this is the show for you. Don't miss out on the chance to unwind and indulge in the joys and challenges of love, all brought to you by our talented hosts. Tune into Africa 24 every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and let us guide you through the enchanting world of Bed of Roses. Subscribe now and mark your calendars. You don't want to miss this. See you there.